Hi everyone, it's 9 o'clock on a Thursday night. It's time for the Handicap Rugby Chat That Matters, our rugby betting show that's been running, well, nicely over a year now. This is going to be our final show of 2019, although we may do some sevens crossings. We're going to have some men like Gavin Cohen down there. We might cross over to him at the beginning of each day and get his feelings. We'll see how things pan out in that regard. But on tonight's show, we are, of course, going to be talking Cape Town Sevens. It's a massive tournament. The Blitzboks are going to come in with high hopes after their victory in Dubai. But we'll also be having a look at the end of the show. If you are a European rugby fan, we do have the Champions Cup games and even perhaps the Challenge Cup games to discuss. But I believe the bulk of our show is going to be on the sevens tonight. So without further ado, let's introduce the panel. I'm going to start off with Oracle Rugby. Now, this man, we haven't seen him looking this clear in some time. He's looking absolutely dashing. He's clearly a man who's been in cracking form. He's got a new phone, and we don't even have a sound delay. Gavin, great to see you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Brent. Yes, brand new phone. Excited. The last one ended in the bottom of a toilet. So I am very excited. This one arrived this afternoon. I've been battling with a very small backup phone for the last 4 days. So I do apologies for everybody that I've been messaging and delayed. And I know in the groups I haven't been as vocal as I normally am. So, yeah, I do apologize, but I'm back. And I will be at the sevens. Unfortunately, I'm not there on Friday. Instead, I'm traveling down at the time, taking my car because I got an extended trip afterwards. But I'll definitely be there on Sunday. And, so tonight I got my plays on the men's games. Unfortunately, the women's betting's not out yet, and neither are the fixtures where we can see past games and that sort of thing. And I'm going to have a proper go at the women's because I'm of the opinion that now that they're including them in all of the, most of the tournaments, it's time for us punters to get familiarize ourselves with it. And I reckon there's a lot of value to be made, or a lot of money to be made and value to be found, because as we know, with smaller tournaments, bookmakers don't get that involved. And this is the kind of tournament, if we can get it right early, we can certainly make some money out of it.
Well, I do have some good news for you, Gavin. I was on World Sports Betting site just before we came on air, just having a look at some of the odds, and they do have the women's odds available on tomorrow's matches. I'm not sure if it's all or not, but we'll certainly maybe even bring that up on screen and have a look at that when we do talk about the women's game. We'll start off on the men's one, but let me just introduce the next guest, and that is the Conductor. He loves his European rugby, but I get the feeling that he's also starting to love his sevens rugby quite a bit, especially with the likes of Sean Nicholas giving tips.
Brent, it's easy when RuggaBugga is getting absolute gold out. So it's easy to sort of enjoy sevens when you got when you start off with like a house on fire. It's nice to have a bit of bucks in the bank to sort of take into the weekend, especially after the first tournament where they have in Dubai they had the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. This weekend will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 3-day tournaments. It's nice to get that Friday off to a banging start and a couple of wins. So. RuggaBugga is absolutely a guru when it comes to sevens. So it's easy to enjoy it when you're winning.
Hey, so we're talking about RuggaBugga. He hasn't joined us on the show yet, so I'll be keeping an eye on the studio, which I can see down below, and I'll be able to see when he comes into the studio. Hoping the bookies haven't taken him hostage, because he did some serious damage last week. I mean, I know that guy knows his sevens, and I've followed him many a time. But I can't recall a tournament where guys had such a hit rate as he had last week. He was absolutely on fire. So certainly hope that he does join us. But perhaps, guys, let's start with a look at the outright betting. I'm going to actually have a nice new feature that's come up on the on this the platform that we use here is a scrolling feature at the bottom. So I went on to WSB and just got their outright odds there. So even money South Africa, New Zealand 28-10, Fiji 33-10. England 14s, Australia 22s, USA 33-1. I think I saw some Kenya 300-1. And Gavin, I'll start with you on the outright front. Anything appeal to you there?
Yeah, look, I'm going to tell you I've backed South Africa in this tournament in the past at 7-10. It was a mistake. I actually went 5 units at that, a very big bet. I think it was 2 years ago. I've learned my lesson. I think anything under 15-10, I'm just not interested. I'm not. It can win without my money. South Africa probably win this tournament, but at even money, I'm just not interested. The only one that I can tell you that I can see a little bit of value there is Australia 22-1. I think that's a cracking price. It's not something that you want to go, ballistic on, but considering how good they were last week, I've got to say 22-1's definitely got my attention. I'm having a small play. I've already had a small bet on it actually, and it's just for a bit of fun. If it pays out, it might extend my holiday by a couple of days. But I'm not touching South Africa at even money. Fiji was so diabolical last week. I know that they likely to, have, backs to the wall and get out of it. But at 33-10, there wasn't enough confidence in last week's play for them to come out and win. I don't think they've done very well in South Africa in the past anyway. The other likely suspect there is New Zealand at 28-10. Probably a little bit of value, but I don't know. I just think this South African team is a little bit stronger than New Zealand. I'm expecting South Africa to get to the final. I'm expecting them to probably win. And, if they don't, I'm expecting Australia to be there. Yeah, that's it. Otherwise, I've got no interest in any of those other prices. Like USA 33-1 should be 100-1. I don't know. Some of them just shouldn't even be there.
Certainly didn't play last week. And I mean, I was impressed, Brendan, with New Zealand last week up until the point they got to the final. I think the Blitzbox exposed them a bit last week in that final. And I must say, I found myself early. We made some money on the New Zealand handicaps, and I found myself almost sucked in coming into the final there. But when you look at the Blitzbox form, they were totally dominant in Dubai. But the one thing 7's has taught us is that form can vary week to week. It could be a player who's injured, key player for a team, and that sort of thing. What's your thoughts on the outrights? You getting involved?
Yeah, Brent, I think, I wouldn't back the Blitzies in Cape Town for some other reason. They've never, ever done well in Cape Town. I don't think they've ever won it. And not only that, but they've never done well there. I don't think they've even reached a final. And they maybe reached a final, but I don't think they've ever done well in Cape Town. So I think I'm going to, like I said, like Gav said, I like Australia on 22-1. I think you can also do 25-1 if you try. New Zealand is not a bad price, but I've got a feeling the Fijians are going to come back like an absolute hurricane this weekend. They were walking off the field, not even giving interviews last week. I don't know if that says something about them being unhappy with what's going on, but I don't know if they're unhappy with the camp or whatever. But generally, they'll come back like a thunder. So we've taken Fiji to smash the Yanks in the first game, and besides the Aussie price, I'll take a bit of Fiji on the board to win the tournament. I actually expect them to come back with a lot of thunder. They've got a lot of their strike players there still. I think they're good value in that tournament.
Excellent. Well, I'll ask you guys just to check your SMS while the other one's talking, just to see if Sean has sent us anything. He hasn't come in yet, but let's get going on the matches. And Gavin, I'll start with you looking at tomorrow's matches. I know you won't be there to see these ones, but we've got Australia.
Actually, Brent.
Oh, you will?
No, well, I won't be there, but I'll certainly be. I'm heading to Bloemfontein. I'm leaving quite early, just before lunchtime. I'm quite excited to see these evening games. So by the time I get to my spot, which is only about 5.5 hours away, I'll be able to watch all of those games in the comfort of my accommodation and a few beers. So I definitely will see those. With regards to the Saturday games, I've told my wife already she's driving. When those are on, I'll be watching them. And when the women's game's on, I'll be driving and we'll be sharing it. So yeah, I definitely will be watching the men's games. I just want to point out something. I see that Nico Olafia has suggested that England at 14-1. I've got to say, from a price perspective, I agree with you, Nico. However, there was no evidence of England last week. They just weren't there. And I'm going to say to the conductor, okay, at 33-10, you can have 4-1 Fiji from me. I just don't see them winning this tournament. I wouldn't touch Fiji. England, I might have a small punt on. I'd have to think about it a bit more. But for me, only Australia. And like I said, I expect South Africa to win. And at even money, I just can't touch it.
Well, let's get into the first game then, Gavin. We've got Australia up against Ireland. Now, see, and I'm looking on WSB, they're minus 13.5 Australia against the Irish. It looks like there's been a bit of money for Australia. They've 17-20, and the Irish plus 13.5 is 19-20. Now, Ireland were a team last week that if there was one team that let me down, it was Ireland last week. I was on them in a few. They certainly ruined me in terms of not delivering on a few trebles and stuff like that. And 13.5 points. Anything on the opener?
Brent, this is a try too much. Last week, 7 was about right. I know that they lost the game by 24, but the most important thing you got to take from that game is that Ireland scored 21 points. And very seldom do we see a team scoring 21 points and losing by 24. That was a bizarre game, if for lack of an English word. 66 points in the game, or 65 points, or whatever it was crazy. If you told me, if I'd phoned you up and said, listen, I didn't watch the game, how did Ireland do? And you said they scored 21, I'm expecting they won the game or they lost by a couple. But if you tell me they lost by 24, I'm completely shocked. So that tells you a few things. The game opened up. There was very little defense. But at the same time, if you look at Ireland after 17-0, so Australia up 17-0 in like 3 minutes or 3.5 minutes in that match, I think they did very well to come back. I know they lost the rest of the game 28-21, 7 points. The handicap was 7. I had plus 7.5 in that game. You know, I still believe I went the right way. I know I lost the bet, and I know that a lot of punters will be laughing at me saying that, what are you talking about? You went the right way. If I have a bet and I lose and I look at something like that, I say to myself, yes, I've lost, but I did the right thing. I still wouldn't have taken Australia minus. And if I was happy last week at plus 7.5, I've got to be happy. Look, there is some plus 14.5 around. Obviously, the difference between 13 and 14 is a conversion on the second try. Plus 12.5 is still a two try bet. So this particular game, I think 2 tries is 1 try too many. If Australia are going to win this game, which I do expect them to win, I'm expecting them to win by 1 try. So anything between 5 and 9 points. So I'd like to say anything plus 10 and above, plus 10.5 and above, should I say, is value here on the Irish. 2 try plus is definitely the value. And I'm quite big on this one. I like this. This is probably my best bet of the day.
Oracle strong on the Irish plus 13.5. Before we go to Brendan, we have heard from Sean. He will be joining us hopefully in a few minutes. He's held up at dinner, someplace called the Grand. I think he said he hasn't paid his bill and they're not letting him go. But he'll hopefully be joining us shortly. Brendan, what do you think in this opener? You with Gavin there on the plus?
Yeah, Brent, I agree there. Somehow the Irish always seem to come back into games. I don't know which other game it was before the Aussies. They were down massively and they came back within 1 score. So, look, I mean, the Aussies started like a house on fire versus the Irish in Dubai. The Irish are so plucky when they play. They don't seem to lose by a ton. So I quite like that on the plus. I won't go big there. I'll go small to medium, but I like the Irish on the plus. They always look like they've got a point to prove when they play. So, and I actually do fancy this Aussie side, actually. But I think that's the first game. I think it's all about, to me, it's all about mindset in the 7's. The guys actually just want to get that win done in that first game, then look forward to the next game. It's not about thrashing guys or whatever the case may be. I think if Oz beat Ireland, they pretty much got that group sewn up besides for Samoa, and I think they'll beat Samoa quite easily. So I think Ireland is a big test, and then they'll move on to Saturday beating Samoa and Kenya. I think it's Kenya.
Excellent. Well, we're going to stay on that group, and I'm going to stay with you just to welcome Son of a Punt. Not sure if this is the first time he's watching the show. Yes, I have seen you on Twitter with your posts, and certainly maybe we'll have you on one of the rugby shows next week. And always good to have another 7's guru along with Sean and guys who followed. It certainly is a game where, as Sean and Gavin have often said, you can perhaps gain a bit of an edge in the bookies. And that's why I'm particularly excited that I see Oracle Rugby applying his mind to the ladies' game, because I think there could be some good opportunities there as well. But let's stick with you there now, Brennan, and we go into the next game, which is Samoa v Kenya. Now, Samoa here minus 5.5 points. They were quite impressive last week at times. Sean, as you know, fancied Kenya for an improved, I think, season generally. And while they didn't maybe win games last week, they were quite impressive to me. And this to me looks like a tough handicap.
No, it is a tough handicap, Brent. I think Samoa were playing on a lot of emotion last week because of the whole measles epidemic in Samoa. I think the commentators touched on it quite a bit throughout the tournaments. A lot of the players' families, a lot of people in Samoa had sort of been affected by this epidemic, and it is quite bad. And I think a lot of the players were actually playing on that and up for it and all that kind of jazz. But I was very impressed with Kenya. They just lack a little bit of composure, I think, to actually win the big games. But their first up game against Blitzbox, I was very impressed with the physicality, the running, the passing, etc. So I definitely have a little medium punt on Kenya plus 4.5. I think they're gonna have the additional benefit of a semi-home crowd with a lot of Kenyan Cape Townians who would have flocked down to Cape Town for that game. So we normally, if Samoa played in New Zealand, they would have obviously had a bit of Pacific Islander shouts. I think Kenya is going to have a bit of, and they do actually have good support throughout worldwide. So I think they have good support in Cape Town.
Excellent. Well, just a couple of interesting comments, and just a welcome to all the guys in the live chat. Son of a pun saying to Mo Vekinia, he likes over 35.5 points. So just to mention, we're mainly focusing on the handicap, unless any of the guys specifically like a points punt. But if anyone brings it up in the comments, I'll bring it up. So bookmakers, the nice thing is for this round of matches, they have not only priced up on the handicaps, but on the total points lines as well. So if there's anything they fancy, they get involved. Before I bring Gavin in on this one, just Joe Lyons popping in and says 7's would be a great game if there were another 8 players on the pitch. And Henrik Swart coming in support of him. No, 7's is not for everyone. And I must admit, even myself, as much as I do enjoy it, from a punting point of view, I'm still a bit of a purist. I like the 15-man game. But, for the guys who like the action thick and fast, then there's nothing better than 7's. Gavin, Samoa v Kenya.
Okay, so I just want to point out something to the conductor and other people. And this is a very big maths issue, this. And, I'm always with my maths and my stats and whatever. The thing with 7's is if you're going to take plus 4.5 at 9 to 10, for me, you're better off actually taking a team to win on the board, because for them to win by try, and that's really what it is. Plus 4.5 is a win or is a loss on a conversion. So if you think your team's not a great conversion taker, I mean, we've seen teams score winning 14-10 and 12-10 and that kind of thing. It's because of the conversions. They both scored the same amount of tries. And the one team just hasn't got their conversions. So in this particular case, at plus 4.5, I'm actually not having a bet on the handicap. What I failed to mention earlier in the WhatsApp group is this game, I'm interested in Kenya to win the game on the board. And I think you're going to get something like 15-10 or 16-10. That's where the value is for me here. I wouldn't be taking plus 4.5. I'm getting 9 to 10 when I should be getting 16-10 or 15-10 to win the game. And because 4.5, 3.5, 2.5 for me are just conversion bets. So if I'm looking for a minus and it's at that level, minus 4.5 is completely different to minus 5.5. So if you're looking for the minus Samoa here, you're better off taking the minus at 4.5. Taking minus 5.5, you could get yourself into trouble because that's one try without the conversion. So in this particular game, I've got to say that, Conductor, you mentioned the Samoans and the measles and all of that. I think they overdid it, actually. It was a bit over the top every single time a Samoan came on TV or had the ball. They were reminiscing and how the measles had got every family. And whilst I'm sympathetic and empathetic to all of those Samoan, I think they really went over the top with it. And I think Samoa, out of their depth in South Africa, I think Kenya are far more at home being in Africa. And I think they pride themselves in that particular tournament. It is their home tournament if there is one for Kenya. And, I'm expecting Kenya to win this game. I'm not strong on it. It's a small bet on the board. And I think there's value at anything above 12 to 10 here.
Well, I've got good news for you. World Sports Betting, I've just popped on there now. 2-1, Kenya on the board.
That's big.
You like that, eh? I mean, I haven't shopped around either. I've just
there you go. There's more than double the 9 to 10, and it's exactly the same bet because you're just taking the conversion away. It's very easy for Kenya to win this game 14-10 or 12-10. It's very possible.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I think there's value. I like Kenya. I know this might sound crazy. I was even eyeing out a bit of the 300 to 1 that they win outright, because the one thing about 7's is every now and again you get a team of bolters. I must say it normally happens later in the season though. You get like a Canada that will win a tournament or something like that, or France that will suddenly make the final. I'm not sure that this Kenya team's ready for that, but the way my last weekend went, I'm looking for some 300 to 1 winners. I can tell you that.
As much as I'd like to lay bets like that, I don't get involved in laying 300 to 1s. Those can also win without my money, so get on, no problem. You're not getting on with me.
Right, Oracle, let's start with you in the next game. France against Spain. France impressed me with their physicality last week, and I wasn't particularly impressed with Spain. I think minus 11.5 France here is the handicap.
Yeah, for me, it's a small bet on Spain. I also like the French, and I often go with them. In this particular fixture, plus 10, plus 11. Plus 11 and plus 10 are effectively the same thing. Plus 9 is a little different because that's a 1-try bet. 10 is a 2-try bet. I'm having a small bet here on Spain at plus 10.5 or plus 11.5. Doesn't really matter. Nobody wins by 11. Just small bet for me. Don't have too much feeling in this particular game. I just think it's a little too high. That's all. I can't trust the French to win by 2 tries. Or, in fact, I can't trust them to win by 2 tries and a couple of conversions. So, I have already taken a Spain plus bet. Otherwise, if you are worried about it, it is that sort of level where you're you're thinking it can win without your money. And these are one of these games. Very small bet for me, Spain plus.
Right. And let's bring the conductor in on this one then.
Gav, can you see what shirt I'm wearing tonight? Let me just stand up a little bit.
Wearing a Spanish shirt.
There you go. That's the Spanish shirt. So all over Los Llanos, I don't know how you pronounce it, Los Llanos, to cover the cap. Very bullish over the Spanish. They are also very plucky, very much like the Irish. They seem to punch above their weight. So always seem to sort of keep it quite tight. So I'm back in the Spanish tomorrow.
Right, I'm just having a look and noting it's down here for the newsletter accumulator. You can subscribe to our newsletter in the comments down below. On Friday, we will be sticking accumulator out as well as a best bet, which I'm sure we'll arrive at on tonight's show. Just Brendan O'Connell watching on Facebook. Now, we are streaming live to Facebook as well as YouTube, and he does say there will Gavin be all over the women today. And I did see something on WhatsApp earlier where he said he was going to be looking at the women all afternoon, and I'm hoping he meant he was going to be studying form there. But anyway, I look forward to seeing his comments on that. Brendan, let's stay for you with the next game. It's England up against Scotland, and here we got a handicap of England minus 14.5. Now, Nico Olivier already mentioned he thought England a bit of value there at 14-1. 14.5 against Scotland. I wasn't impressed by the Scots last week. I don't know if they've got any players back or anything like that.
Brent, as far as I know, they're still missing those two key players. I think Scott Riddell, and I might be mentioning the wrong two guys, but I think they're missing 2-3 very key guys for them. And they looked, and I think what Sean RuggaBugga made a very good point. He actually said they're missing everything. They're missing pace. They're missing creativity. They were very, very poor last weekend. And I watched Scotland the England in the bronze. I didn't watch much of them in the last day, but them in the bronze final, I was very impressed with the way they ran the ball, played the ball, ran the ball, passed the ball. I think England will cover this quite easily, especially if Dan the man plays in the wing and runs in those absolute scorches with those outside runs. I think he'll absolutely smash the Scots on Friday tomorrow.
Right, Gavin, England, Scotland, 14.5.
I guess it's too big, Brent. It's possibly as much as 1.5 tries too big. It's too big. They get up for this match. Scottish don't get pummeled by the English. I like it, yeah. I know that they weren't great last week, but also the English weren't great. And that's why I said earlier about that 14-1. Don't get mathematically confused here with 14 handicap, 14-1 to win the tournament. Don't get involved in that. I think it's just too much. If you've got minus 14.5 here, you need the English to win this game by 3 tries. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm big on this one. This is my second best bet of the day after the Irish blush. It's just it feels too much. It looks too much. The duck and the quacking. It's just too much.
I can tell you this is going to be an interesting newsletter. It's going to have one section that says these are Oracle's bets and another one that says these are the Conductor's bets. But Oracle, let's stay with you now and go on to the next game. And it's Argentina up against Canada. And here the handicap at WSB is Argentina minus 7.5.
Okay, so there we go again. 7.5, 6.5. Some guys have got 6.5. I even believe there was 5.5 yesterday.
Yeah, I see son of a punt. I don't know if that's still available, but he was going on Argentina minus 4.5. So, probably been snapped up there.
Yeah, so I can tell you minus 4.5, I'm like super max. Minus 5.5, I'm half max, half max. Minus 7.5, it's a small bet because I'm expecting Argentina to win this game by a try, and that's where the maths comes in. 4.5, that's the conversion bet. 5. They win by 5, it's a try. 7, you're taking minus 7.5, suddenly they're going to win by 2 tries. It's a massive difference. Not just 3 points, it's huge. So, yeah, I'm super max at 4.5. I actually got 5.5 here, so I didn't take the I just had a reasonable bet on this one, a medium bet. Yeah, I didn't get 4.5. So if I'd got 4.5, I promise you I would have gone super max here. I think they will win this game comfortably. And I say comfortably in 7s, that's a try or more. So 5 to sort of 9 points. Yeah, they can win by more than 10. But, there's Canadians as well. They're a bit scary. And every time I was telling Sean earlier today or yesterday when I spoke to him on the phone, You know, when I look at that Hirayama kicking off, and I'm thinking to myself, geez, this oak's been kicking off, I think, since 2005. They haven't changed that team. They're going to get very tired very soon, and very soon could be 2 years, I don't know. But at some point, Canada are going to be absolute rubbish. They're going to have to start with 10 more people or 15 more people or whatever they're allowed to have. This Canadian team is tired. I don't know. Just I think Argentinians will beat them, and they'll beat them by a try or more. 2 tries, possibly 3. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. -4.5, huge. -5, 7, not so huge.
Excellent. Brendan, we'll bring you in on this one now. I mean, I guess also an example there of if you do like something on the 7s, it often does pay to get on early because that handicap does shift. And I take Gavin's point, in particular on 7s rugby, where conversions, I'm really guessing here, but I would say in rugby union, you know, conversions probably go over at about an 80% hit rate. And certainly a lot lower in 7s, particularly when they score out wide there. So, yes, I mean, if, for example, someone comes and posts a -4.5 and you go to the bookie and it's -5.5, you've got to just push the brakes a bit and say, do I want to go in with as big a bet? What do you think of this one, though?
Yeah, Brent, I think it's exactly what you say. You're 100% correct there. You know, to me, there's a big difference between 4.5 and 5.5. I know it's only 1 point, but even in 7s, it can be so crucial. So the reason why I say that is, let's say the RGs are 12 points up with 1 minute to play. You know, you just know that 7 points might come. So there's a big difference between the 5 and the 7 points difference. So you know, often what you're trying to hope is that they push them wide so that the kick is difficult. But you know, sometimes they slip through the gap and slip right underneath the posts. You know, it's the difference between 5 and 7 is so easy in 7s. I know what you're saying in terms of if it's wide, the kick is difficult. But if they break through, often they go underneath the posts.
True.
So you know, often what you want to be is at least 7 points or more to the good with a 1 minute to go. So and I think, as I say, I took -4.5. I think, you know, we piled into that upon RuggaBugga's say so. -7.5 might be a little bit too much. I don't think I'd take -7.5, to be quite honest. It might be just too much. You know, the cruel mistress with 7s is that last try it has sunk many bets, and often the guys will be up, say, let's say by 14 or 12 points, and they don't mind conceding the last try because they've already won the game. So that can often sink a lot of punters, and it's difficult.
Right, Brendan, let's stay with you then for the next game, and that's New Zealand up against Wales. I don't know what movement there's been on this handicap, but I see -27.5 New Zealand at the moment.
Brent, New Zealand were absolutely faultless last weekend. I mean, they absolutely smoked everything in their path. Wales were absolutely terrible. But saying that, I actually might be tempted to go on the plus here. 27, it does seem to be a little bit too much. I know the Wales squad is young, but I'm just worried about New Zealand just not putting in a full performance on that first day. At -27, you need the guys to go full gas for 14 minutes. And if they don't, you're going to lose the bet. So I'd probably, if anything, I'd push there. I'll go plus on the plus. I know we won big time. You know, once again, RuggaBugga actually called it to a T last weekend. I don't know what he called. I think he called minus 40, -15, or something like that. I can't remember what the handicap was. But he was absolutely brilliant in that. But this might be a bit of an overcorrection in terms of Wales and New Zealand. I think New Zealand will know that they're going to smoke them, score their 4 tries, get the bonus points, and take the gas off. You know, I could only see Oaks losing on that handicap.
Gavin, do you think that? I mean, when I saw this handicap, I immediately thought Oracle Rugby will be looking at the plus.
No, I am a minus punter here, Brent. Although I'd like to say my cap is at 28.
Right.
They -29, -30, not interested. Up to -28, I'll take it because up to -27, I'll take it. I had a small bet at 25.5 yesterday. It's a small bet for me. At 20, sure, that's 3 tries, you win the bet. 22, 23, 24, 25, at 4 tries, you win the bet. I'm not taking -4 tries here. I'm not looking for 29s and 30s. Last week, they scraped it. The Welsh have probably got slightly better. I'm not going to say it's a conversion, possibly another try. They lost by 29 last week or 30. They could lose by 25 or 26 here. It's a small bet for me. The minus is more likely than the plus, but I'm certainly not going big on this game. And if you're getting a handicap in the 30s, you can probably take the plus with confidence. It's just one of those games. It's just too high. It's just getting too high. And as Conductor said, bookmakers have overcorrected here. It just looks like they've overcorrected by quite a bit, actually.
Right. So Oracle reckons the you say the minus of 28. You go the minus of 28.
27.5. 28.
You don't want the 4. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying about the maths there. Next game, Oracle USA against Fiji. USA, who were disappointing last week, plus 7.5 against a Fiji side that's, let's face it, were disappointing as well. And I guess the question is who can get their arse into gear and deliver in this game. Because it's a crucial game because you've got the blitz box in the group. So, I mean, think the loser of this game doesn't make the quarters.
Okay, what I can tell you is Sunday night in Cape Town, I'll be drinking with the USA team. I've never met them before, but my mate is hosting them, so I'm all over that. I'm going to be, what do they call it, selfieing with all of these American players. So my kid's quite excited, so I'm very excited. It's actually the highlight of my trip. I know the 7's is a highlight, but meeting an American team, they've won me a lot of money in the past. I've got to thank them. I'm going to personally thank each and every one of them, give them a bit of a handshake and a hug and all of that stuff. At this particular handicap, geez, those Fijians were shocking last week. So were the Americans. I'm no bet. I'm actually no bet at this handicap. You want a little bit of value, go for the Americans to win the game. 16-10, 17-10, 18 if you can get it. Possibly even 2-1 or 5-2. You're going to find some clown bookmaker that may even go as much as 3-1 on this game. I don't know. A bit of value in that. But at this handicap, it's a try handicap. I'm not really interested because this really can go either way. Fiji can win this game by 20. USA can win it by 10. I'm not getting involved in this game. I'll have a small punt on the outright if I can get sort of bigger than 2-1. I'll have a small bet. But otherwise, not interested.
I could tell the guys at WSB will be quite happy that you don't consider them clowns because you said a clown bookmaker 3-1. They've won 29-10. So they're just short of clown status. But I guess you'd have to say that for you, that's a bit of value.
Most definitely. I think, seriously, anything about 2-1 in this game does sound like a bit of value. If they had to play each other 3 times, you got to believe the Americans are going to win at least one of them. So 2-1, I'm happy with that. Anything above 2-1 is a bit of value, yeah. Right,
Conductor, you're in the same camp as Oracle on this one, or are we boxing against each other again?
Prince, nowhere. If he's in Cape Town, I'm in Johannesburg right now. We're in completely different camps at this stage. I think the Fijians are going to be very upset with the way they played in Dubai. They have sometimes started bad in Dubai, but they've come back like an absolute firecracker in Cape Town. I think they're going to be pissed off. Fijian 7's is a massive point of pride for them. They will not be happy with the way they performed. I don't know if it's Gareth Faber who's the coach. I don't know if it's his influence in terms of the way they've been playing recently, but it seems they've been playing a bit out of sorts. But as I said, if they come with their behind the passes, behind the back and no lookers and that sort of Harlem Globetrotters kind of stash, they're not gonna. The USA won't even smell where they are. I was not impressed with the way Colin Owls played last week. I wasn't impressed with the way Perry Baker played last week. I think they're actually going to smoke USA. They're going to want to prove a point, and that's why I fancy them to win the tournament. I think I really think they're going to come with a point to prove. They are the best 7's team in the world, besides for the Blitzbokker. So I think it's going to be an absolute demolishing. With little Jerry Tuwai scoring a couple underneath the sticks.
All right, let's move on to the next game then, which I think involves South Africa. We have just want to see if there's anything we've missed. USA, Fiji. I must say I was leaning towards Fiji. Interesting to hear Gavin's comments on that one. But let's go on to the Blitz box. And while you're talking, Brendan, I'm going to bring up a post from one of our 7's punters on the Good for the Game forum that we could discuss as well. And here we got South Africa minus 31.5. Now, I know this handicap has moved a bit. Well, I'm sure it's moved because I thought I saw mid-20s early in the week. Would I be correct?
I think this was always around 30. Is
it? Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing anything lower there. I think the lowest I saw was 29.5, which effectively is the same as 30 or 31.
You know what? I realized what I did. World Sports Betting offer alternative caps over and above the line. And I think what happened when I went on there and had a quick scan through, I saw the 25.5. I see it is still there now, but it's obviously at a shorter price. So, Brendan, what do you make of this one?
Brent, I won't be touching this bet. Very much like the Welsh bets. And the reason why I say that is that a lot of times in sevens, and I think we all know this as punters, there's a lot of dead time in the game. And that can often kill a big handicap like a minus 31.5. Sure, they could probably run in 35, 37, 38, 39, 40 points, etc. But often, there's 2-3 minutes that go by without any points having been scored, and your bet is absolutely stuffed. Look, I see the box winning by more than 22-23, but 32 points, it's a lot of tries. I don't know. Look, I mean, this Japan side is absolutely rubbish. But it's not about the Japan side being rubbish. It's about just dead minutes in the game. And I think often there's a scrum reset which eats up a minute or something like that. So I'll be fancying that, obviously the blitzies at home to put on a show for the crowd, etc. But I think if you do your research, you'll find a lot of times they won't cover this handicap.
Yeah, interesting one. It is a big handicap. So just want to point out, I brought up, I won't read the full post here, but Live Love Punt is one of the posters on the Good for the Game forum. And he came out, as soon as the Japan team news came out, he said they've made some changes and he reckons the minus 30.5 is the way to go. So just to mention, I have put a link in down below to the Good for the Game Rugby forum thread. Every week we get plenty of action on the rugby. We're going to be obviously going big on Super Rugby, but sevens is huge as well. So if you want to see what the boys think, certainly before each round, there's a few guys come on and they post their fancies on the forum and things like team news and that as well. So, Gavin, what do you make of this game?
Yeah, in the 30s, I'm a Japan punter, yeah. It just, we're going back to conversions and all of that stuff earlier. The problem with South Africa is they are actually renowned 5-point merchants. These Ikes go directly for that flag in the corner. I don't know. If you gave me 3 minutes with a South African Blitzbox team, I'd smack their heads against the wall and tell them they're going to go for the poles. They're going for the wrong corner. They just go for the corner every time, and they don't seem to care whether they get the kick or not. The commentators are usually on board going, hey, South Africa got another try. The reality is I think we average 5.2 points per try, whereas teams like New Zealand and Fiji are closer to the 6 line. We're just way off that. And you want to give me minus 31 on South Africa? I'll lay that all day of the week. I don't even care who they're playing. We're just 5-point merchants. Sure, we can beat this handicap, but we're more likely to not beat it. So I'm a small punter on Japan here. And, there's no shame in South Africa winning this game 40 points to 10 or 40 points to 12. You got to expect those Japanese to get a couple of tries. I don't know. That's also being optimistic and thinking South Africa will score 40 here. They might just win this game 28-0 and half 5 and jump up and down and say they thrashed the Japanese. I'm not getting involved in this minus. I've had a small punt on the plus, and when I say small, it's really small, only because I'm going to be watching the game. But I would never ever get involved in a big minus like this for massive money.
Your point you made on the South Africans where they score the tries is a good one, because many a handicap I've been on them, and I've been, for goodness sake, you're under no pressure, run under the post, and the guy will just carry on running towards the corner and dodge it down. So it is a good point you make there. Difficult. It's one of these things. If South Africa do come out firing and score a couple of early tries, the handicap could go. But if anything, I'll probably be sitting this one out from a handicap perspective. Looks a little bit of a tough one. So guys, let's just wrap up on the men's handicaps, and then what is your best bet, Oracle, on the men's card before we touch on the ladies now?
Yeah, it's a toss-up between Ireland and Scotland. I'm going to say the Irish bets is probably the big one. Irish plus, Scottish plus, I'm definitely interested. Those are my 2 big bets. The 2 games I'm staying away from are the Fiji game and the Samoa game. I say that. I'm having a small bet on Kenya to win the game and USA to win the game. Not getting involved there. But, if you're only going to have 2 bets or 1 bet tomorrow, decide between Ireland plus and Scottish plus. Those are my 2 best bets of the day.
Excellent. Well, I can tell you.
Don't forget to have a small bet on Australia, 22-1 to win the tournament.
Okay, well, I can tell you one thing. Most of our target market is not only having 2 or 3 bets tomorrow. They want to bet on every game. Brendan, what's your best bet in the men's?
Definitely Fiji against USA. I love them. No. I think they're going to come with those bloody 7-foot oaks and those basketball passes and round the back. And I can't wait. It's going to be beautiful tomorrow to watch the Yanks scrambling like the oaks. They have no clue where the ball's going to go. So, I like Fiji. I think the RG minus, I think, is gone. But definitely Fiji is my biggest bet. As a sevens team, besides for Blitzbokke are incredible as a team dynamic. They defend like absolute beasts, but no one will touch Fiji in terms of beautiful sevens play. So that's my big bet for tomorrow.
Right. Gavin, let's go. Oh, you want to add on to the men? Well, I'm going to stick with you for the ladies as well, but let's go for it.
I just saw Brendan O'Connell.
Yes.
Suggesting that Irish are poison. I think Ike has to look in his own backyard or in his own house to see the Irish, because he is Irish. So you've got to take that with a pinch of salt. That's the homeland speaking.
But I think Brendan, like me, was doing quite well on the sevens until Irish let him down in a couple of trebles and stuff. I know against Scotland they got up and won the game, but they never beat the handicap there. But Gavin, look, I don't want to spend too much time on the ladies. First of all, Brendan, you haven't got anything for us on the ladies game, eh?
No, I do. If you want to call out,
I know you do, Gavin. I'm just checking with Brendan. So, because if you don't have anything, I'm going to stick with Oracle just to run through his fancies. You haven't got anything.
Dave can take it away there, Brent. I love the ladies, but probably not in rugby or tennis. So, Yokes can take it away in terms of that.
No, that's cool. So, Gavin, this is what I want to do. I don't know if you've had a look at the handicaps yet.
No, I want you to give me the handicap, and I'm going to tell you what I'd like, just based on what I've looked at this evening. So these are provisional.
Do you want me to give you the cap, or are you going to tell me what you'd back it at, and then I'll tell you the cap?
All right, I'll start off by telling you what I think it should be. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Right.
Okay, so let's start with Australia, England.
Yeah, so Australia, England. I'm looking at this, and I'm going to tell you that they're probably going to go England -2 here.
Okay,
maybe 7-10.
Did you say England -2?
Yeah.
Australia -15.5.
You got to take England plus straight away. I don't even have anything else to say there. I'm on the English plus straight away.
Just a 17 point. I mean, when you handicap a game and there's a 17-point difference, that's a signal to empty out everything.
No, well, this is women's rugby, so you got to be careful.
Yeah, fair enough. That's new to us.
I've also warned my son, he can marry anyone, eh? Black, white, Indian, coloured, doesn't matter, any race, any religion, whatever. But if he marries a Bulls supporter, he's in huge trouble. And if he marries a chick that's a rugby player, he's in massive trouble. They're nice to watch and play the game, but don't marry them, eh? They look like they can beat you up in a second if you disagree over a plate of chips. I wouldn't get involved, though.
Okay, a little bit of sidetrack there on that one. So that's a massive swing. Let's go on to the next game then. And the next game is USA against Ireland. How would you be capping this game?
Okay, so this USA team, I did watch a little bit of them last week. I was very impressed. They'll definitely be favourites. And I'm going to suggest that they could be as much as 12, 10 or 12 minus 10 or 12.
23.5.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I don't know. I'd like to go plus there. Small bet, though. I wouldn't go big because that USA team definitely looks the business.
Okay, let's move on to the next game. And we got France up against Spain.
I think this is the same as the men's fixture. Eh? We got the same.
Yeah, it looks like it. And hopefully I am looking. Yeah, and it's France against Spain. A different handicap, though.
Okay, so the French team will definitely be favourites here. In fact, I'd like to say Spain have got no chance. This is probably minus 12 or 14 France.
19.5. So you in the region.
I'm going to call minus anyway. It sounds a bit big, but I think they'll beat that. Again, these are 1 unit or smaller plays. I don't get excited. I'm learning the stuff still. So if you are following me here, stick to really small stuff and don't moan at me next week. In fact, there's no show next week, so you can't moan at me next week.
Excellent. Yeah, find him on Twitter. Right, let's go on to the next one. Canada up against Brazil.
Okay, that Canadian
last week.
They looked very good. I remember seeing your post there saying that you're going to take the -6 and be the RuggaBugga of women's rugby. And I think you sat in a proper sweat. And, in fact, you lost at the end because New Zealand, they won the game, but I don't think they deserved to. The handicap
was always in trouble in that game. And look, I just looked at the scores in the game. I'd never watched either team play, but that was the first and only game I watched. It was also the first and only time I claimed to be the RuggaBugga of women's 7's rugby, I can tell you that. But I was impressed with Canada. So how would you cap this game?
Yeah, so this one's an all-American derby, obviously, being played in Cape Town. I'm going to guess the handicap's going to be something like 30, maybe 28. And again, I might...
Gavin, you spot on there, 28.5.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's going for 5 tries or more. I'm still going to call a minus here. I hate doing this, but it does look like the value. This Brazilian team looks, from the stats I'm looking at here, look absolute rubbish. So, yeah, I'll call it a minus here, but very small. This is quarter unit stuff.
Right, a very, very small one there. Brendan, not impressed by some of the Canadian ladies. He was actually at the Dubai 7's last week watching them, so he had a good close-up.
I think he was the scorer there, Brent. He was the scorer at the tournament.
Yeah, I heard he didn't score, though. But anyway, let's move on to the next game. That is Russia up against Fiji. How you capping this one?
I'm going to call this one a level game, and I'm going to tell you to back Russia. How's that? 9-10 Russia is probably a bit of value. And if this was a men's match, you'd be laughing all the way till the cows came home. But Russia can beat this Fijian team, and I think they will.
But the bookies, unfortunately, agree with you, Gav. They've gone minus 6.5 Russia.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you to take the minus with confidence. So all those Fijian punters out there, the conductor, I'm actually interested to see what these Fijian women look like. The men look like they're pretty big, and I've got to guess the women are going to look similar to the men. So I'm going to tell you, and the Russians probably the same way, actually. I think they pull tractors to practice. So I'm all over the Russian minus here. And this one, I'm probably going to touch the 1 unit maximum on this women's rugby.
Excellent. Well, it's a dream of every women's rugby player to say she looks like a man's rugby player. Thanks, Gav. Right, let's move on to the next game. It's New Zealand up against South Africa. Now, South Africa, am I right, are not regulars on the circuit, and I'll probably try to break the way in. Obviously, they're at home, and I think that's probably why they've been brought in. How would you be capping this game, Gavin?
I'm going to tell you that not only are they not regulars, I don't think that they should even be playing rugby. I think they need to practice a bit more. In fact, there is a guy on our WhatsApp group, Brent, that his daughter plays for the South African touch team, and she's been called up to practice with these women's rugby, and hopefully we'll get a decent women's rugby team in the future. But at the moment, I'm going to tell you can take minus 45 with confidence in this match. I don't think they'll get anywhere close. They'll get 0. So if you've got points, you can go unders on South Africa here. They won't get a single point. They'll be thrashed, thumped. I don't know what the handicap is, but it's minus with confidence, and that's probably a half unit play for me.
Excellent. Well, it's interesting. First of all, the handicap's 35.5, and then I'm just on WSB because, to their credit, they priced up on the exotics as well. And over 2.5 and under 2.5 points, and unders is trading at 9-20. So
yeah, I'm going to tell you, look, I've got a simple thing. I don't take anything under 7 or 10. But if you are one of those brave oaks and you want to take a bit of a punt here and steal some money, go take the 0.45. South Africa don't score a point in this match. It's probably value. And in fact, if the game went on for 35 minutes, I'm going to use 35 as that's what the handicap is. South Africa still won't score a point. They will win 2-0. It's just a case of how many. And I've got to say minus 35 sounds like an absolute bargain. I may even push this up to a full unit here. South Africa will be thumped. Don't be surprised. Absolutely thumped. Race over. They can put this result in. South Africa won't score a point, and they will be thumped.
All right, so not looking good for the South African ladies. I'm not too sure what they call them in the 7's, but it sounds like they're going to get blitzed tomorrow, certainly by the New Zealand team. Right, guys, that brings us to the end of the 7's. I mean, we've spoken for 50 minutes about the 7's. Thank goodness Sean didn't join us. Imagine how long the 7's would have gone on. Sean, if you are watching or if you finally settled your bill, by all means, pop on at the end and give us your predictions. But let's move on to European rugby now. We'll probably go through the games a little bit more briskly than we normally do. And Brendan, I'll go to you here. 2 games on Friday night. Harlequins up against Ulster. And let me just see. Normally, I can see the handicap straight away. Oh, here we go. I just had to change the screen size. And on Sunday, I've got Harlequins plus 2.5, Ulster minus 2.5.
Brent, I'm definitely in the Harlequins camp there. Despite them naming a sort of a very Brett Heron at 10, it's unfamiliar at 10. I haven't seen him before. And 11, I haven't seen either. They've got some absolutely Kunatani. He's back for Harlequins. He's destructive at 6 or 7. I don't know whichever flank he's playing at. He's incredible there. They've got a couple of guys coming back from injury. I see Ulster had to literally slot a last-minute penalty to beat Harlequins in Ireland. So I actually fancy Harlequins to get this win here. So I'd actually take Harlequins on the board here. That's my play there rather than plus 2.5. Also have 3 out of 3. I think that it's going to be, and they scraped home against Bath away, and they scraped home against I can't remember who the other away game was. Sure, it escaped me now, but they literally scraped home as well. I quite like Harlequins to win this year.
Right. Any thoughts on this game from you, Oracle?
Small bet, Ulster to win. Haven't put much in it, but I don't see Harlequins winning this. The numbers are telling me Ulster will win this match.
I'll stick with you, going straight on to the other Friday night game. It's Racing 92 or 1-100 to beat the Ospreys, who've really looked terrible all tournament. And here, Gavin, the handicap is 28.5.
I don't know too much about this particular game. I just know that the French that Ospreys team is rubbish. I mean, the Kings beat them. I know that the Cheetahs didn't have a fantastic game against them. Minus 28 sounds about right. Probably win by a bit more. So a small minus play for me here. I'm probably not going to have a bet on it though, Brent, to be honest with you.
Right. Brendan, you on this game?
Brent, I saw the Racing lineup. They've made a couple of changes. So they've taken Finn Russell out. They've brought Ben Villavola on. Camille Shah is on the bench. So it's not the first team lineup for Racing. Just remember that it is underneath the stadium, so there's no weather to contend with here. I think if I'm correct, the handicap's about minus 28. I'll go smalls here, minus on the Racing. Vakatawa could wreak havoc there in the midfield. And I don't think Ospreys have got anything to play for. I see Ospreys have made quite a few changes, so they're not going to be at full strength. I'm not going to go big on this game because I can see the French taking the foot off the pedal. But I would never take plus. If anything, I'll go smalls on the minus or stay out of it. So I do like Racing. They actually do tend to put teams away. They actually smoked Saracens in that first game. So my preference here is Racing. Not big, small to medium. That would be my preference here.
Right, let's go to the next game. Benetton Treviso against Lyon. And here the bookies have got quite a close one. Benetton slight underdogs here, and they're plus 1.5.
Brent, I'm quite bullish on Benetton here. We haven't seen the team news because the team will only be revealed tomorrow. But Lyon played a first team at Lyon when Benetton played them last week. I expect them to do quite a big turnover this week when they play Benetton. Benetton have been very plucky at home. They were actually leading. Actually, were smoking Northampton for a good quarters of that game until they let them back into the game. I don't think Lyon are focusing on this tournament. I expect them to actually release a couple of players for this game. To me, I took about a 15-10 earlier in the week. I think it's hell of a good value. I took about a plus 3.5. I'm quite heavily invested in that actually. If I go back into the results, Benetton have run a lot of big teams close in Italy, and I don't see Lyon really trying to get up for this game. They've got no points. They're leading the top 14, so I expect them to rather focus on that league.
Right, so Benetton, were you there? Then Connacht up against Gloucester. I'm going to stick with you, and then we'll go to Gavin for these two games. Connacht up against Gloucester, plus 3.5 for home team.
Brent, I've taken...
No, minus 3.5 for home team.
Yeah, minus 3.5. I've taken a minus 2.5. The reason being is I actually was not impressed at all with Gloucester in that home win. Yes, they won by, I think, 9 points, but geez, man, they butchered so many. It would look like a slaghuis there. They butchered every opportunity they could. I was watching a lot of the Connacht players this week and their coach. They very much up for this game. They were very disappointed with the way they played. They're actually very, very pissed off. That when so many players come out and speak about the previous game the way they did, says to me that it's not a game that they're going to take lightly. I haven't been impressed with Gloucester. I was actually very impressed with Connacht the way they played. So I'm happy to take the minus 2.5. I'll probably take minus 2.5 as well.
Right, Connacht -2.5 if you can get it, or the -3.5. Gavin, there's two games there which we'll ask your opinion on. The first one is Benetton up against Lyon, and then you can run straight into Connacht against Gloucester.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with the Conductor on Benetton to win the game. Well, to go for Benetton, yeah, I think it's a little bit of value. And I'm actually surprised they had they not favoured in this match. That seems a bit odd. I like them. Yeah, the Italians have definitely been far better at home than they are a travelling team. With regards to the next game, if I had to have a bet, I'm not going to have a bet, but if I had to have a bet, I'd go for Gloucester. I wasn't that impressed with Connacht recently, and yeah, I don't have too much feeling on it, so I'm probably scratch what I've just said. I'm not going to have a bet on this game.
Okay, let's move on then, and we'll stay with you, Gavin, for the next two games. Montpellier against Toulouse. Montpellier here, slight favourites. Oh, no, slight underdogs, in fact. Well, it's virtually a choice game, 17-20 the pair.
Yeah. Just looking at the stats that I'm looking at here, it's I don't know what the team selection is this week. Obviously, a French derby. I've got to go with a home team. I know the French always like that, and I think Toulouse, just looking at what I'm seeing here, have battled to win here at Montpellier. So if you are going to have a bet on this game, the stats are telling me that Montpellier are probably a little bit of value. I'm actually quite surprised to hear that they're the plus team after what I'm looking at. I haven't had a bet on it, but I'm certainly interested in Montpellier here at this price.
Right, Conductor, yourself on this game?
Yeah, Brent. For me, can I say I'd line this weekend as rather being a little bit more risky than trying to take the safe bets here. So what I mean by that is I'd rather go Harlequins at a 9-10. I like Connacht at small handicaps -2.5. And this, I agree with Gav for a change. I like I like Montpellier here. The French do have it's like I said in many shows, they've got a very weird psyche that they battle to play away from home. And I think, as Gav says, we don't know what the team news is, who's coming in. I don't know if Hurston is back. I haven't read too much about Montpellier this week, but Pollard might even be starting with his new campaign. I'm not sure about what his cheek is looking like, etc. But the French always seem to lift at home. And look, I love Toulouse. They are my favorite team. But the French generally tend to lift their game at home. Toulouse might just not be as switched on for this game as they might normally be, and I think Montpellier might lift it. So 11-10 gets my money here for Montpellier. I think it's a hell of a good price for a French team at home with the caliber of Montpellier.
Right, Montpellier, the pick there. Saracens up against Munster. Here we got Saracens -11.5.
Brent, I would have loved a bit of a smaller handicap. 11.5 is not touching the ceiling in terms of where you don't want to be. That's the Tom Cruise danger zone in terms of handicap levels there. I would have loved a -8.5, -7.5, but I would probably stay away from the 9-10 there. I'd probably go to 5-10, probably a 6.5, 7.5 to 10. Sorry, -7.5. But we probably stick my money. I expect Saracens to launch a full team there. And interesting enough, Munster sitting second in that group, if I can recall. If Saracens win with 5 points, they'll overtake Munster, and they'll go to second in the group off the same number of games played. So if Saracens really want to switch on, they can finish second here quite easily. So it's all in their hands to actually, if they want to smoke Munster, they can. They could have easily drawn against Munster in Ireland with that last minute red card from Arnu Dumbass Buerta with his elbow to the face. So that was absolute stupidity from him. But Saracens had a great opportunity to try and drive that over. But there again, if Jamie George had been throwing in instead of whoever it was, they probably would have had a good opportunity to drive over and had an opportunity to kick over. So I think this week, with a lot of guys coming back, I don't see Munster in it.
Right, let's go on to the next game. Glasgow Warriors against La Rochelle. -18.5 Glasgow. Now, I did see on the Good for the Game forum, I think it was Southpaw, one of our shrewd rugby punters, coming in and saying, take the -18.5. This La Rochelle team have switched off. They're not going to be interested.
Yeah, Brent, I'm very much in agreement there. When the French throw up that white flag, it's everyone just pours in. It's they don't even try. So and Glasgow do need the 5 points here. So I'll happily take minus. I think the last one I saw was -9, -8.5, -9.5. I'll happily take that. I think when La Rochelle, look, they've got some good players, but what I would do is I'll take that -8.5, -9.5 tonight before the team news, because I think there's going to be a big turnover tomorrow, and that caps. I definitely think it's going to shift to -23, -24, with Glasgow playing pretty much a full Scottish side versus a half a provincial side there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, the team news on that one. But certainly when Southport comes in early, I like to get involved. Gavin, anything for you on that one? You in agreement on the minus?
Yeah, look, that game I'd stay away from. It looks like there's too many, too much. I don't know what the right word is. Yeah, just not enough knowledge on what's going on. And like Conductor said, they seem to have given up already. And it's just one of those handicaps. Is Glasgow going to show up and score 30 points, and La Rochelle get nothing? I mean, this team was absolutely flying 2 years ago. I don't know what's happened to them. You're getting -18s and 19s and 20s. That's crazy. It just the quote seems a bit odd. I wouldn't touch it. Going back to the other game, the Munster one, I'm all over that. I think Saracens got no chance here. They won't win the game. I'm in agreement with Conductor. -11.5 is that extra touch too far. So you're probably looking for a bit of a safer -7 or 10, -9 or -7 or -8 if you can get it. It's just one of those games. Looks like it's going to be 10 or 11. May not quite be 15 or 18 points. Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with the Conductor. I just want to mention something. Sorry, Shane. Sorry, you asked me the question, then I'll say what I want to say afterwards.
No, I think I might have misheard you that you like the Saracens to win this game, then, eh?
No, I like Munster.
Because Munster am I getting this wrong? Munster plus 11.5.
Then Gav can take the plus 11. That's a Christmas.
My mistake. I read incorrectly. I actually saw it the other way. No. I'm all over Munster here. Plus, definitely. Okay. I don't see Saracens winning this game. So, there you go. I'm not a season Champions Cup punter. And if you're telling me that Munster are the plus team and I read it wrong and I can see it now, sorry, it is my mistake. I'm going Munster. Yeah.
Thanks. No, I just wanted to clarify that, because I mean, based on what you say, man, if you're very firmly in the Munster camp.
Just wanted to answer Shane. We use obviously, especially me. I'm quite a localized talker, and I use words like oak and whatever. And I got to tell you, when I was in England, one of my first days in England, I heard geezer. So the guy, he's pointing to two people. He says, "See the bloke and the geezer." And I said, "Which one's a geezer?" He says, "The other guy." So you got a cracking word in England called geezer. I love it. And we call that's a hot water system here. It makes water for our bath and shower. That's a geezer. There's no oak called a geezer in South Africa. We call them oaks and that kind of thing, and guys and whatever. But I'm definitely an oak. I say oak all the time. Love the word. Spelled O-K-E. You can say O-A-K, but I prefer the O-K-E version. Yeah, that's it. There's two oaks over there. There's the one on the left and one on the right. One of them's a geezer. The other one's a bloke.
So to anybody who happens to be listening to the show on the podcast, because the shows do go out on the likes of Spotify and Apple Podcasts afterwards, of course, they're not going to see the live comments. So just to mention that is about the live comments. And even if you're watching on Facebook, you may, if I haven't brought the comment up, you wouldn't see that. But yes, great to have European support of our shows, particularly in the World Cup, and the likes of Shane and Joe Lyons. We really appreciate it, guys. This is our last show of the year. We look forward to having you guys back on board early next year as well, when we get stuck into the Six Nations and Super Rugby, and obviously some European rugby as well. Let's have a look then what the next game is, Oracle, and I'm going to stay with you. It's Leinster against the Northampton Saints, and Leinster here -18.5.
Yeah, that sounds right already, eh? That sounds like they're probably about right. Yeah. I'm going to tell you to take the minus here quite confidently, actually. This looks very good to me. That Leinster team's been great. I don't know too much about Northampton, but looking at the stats over here, I'm interested in Leinster minus. Thank you for pointing that out.
Leinster -18.5. Brendan, are you in agreement with Oracle? Look, Joe Lyons, did you point out Joe Lyons says, I brought up his wrong comment. Joe Lyons, Leinster by 50.
I'm going to go over that. Over 50.
But Gavin, didn't you say the handicap looked about right at first class?
No, it looked like it was they had the right favourite. Sorry, I was
right favourite. Okay, got you.
Right favourite in the previous game. Sorry.
Excellent. Just a quick one, Brendan, before you come in. Night to Brendan. I don't know which country of the world he's sleeping in. He's, of course, a pilot, so he travels all around the world. So good night to you, and I hope you're tucking into bed alone tonight.
So Brent, pilots have got bottle to throttle 8 hours. So if he's going to bed at 12 o'clock, means he's flying at 8 o'clock.
Right, yeah, that's it. Right, Brendan, what do you think on this game? Leinster.
Yeah, Brent, look, Leinster, like I said, in the, I think, previous couple of shows in terms of Champions Cup and Pro 14, they're probably the best side in Europe at the moment. Besides for the full-strength Saracen side, I think they actually might do a bit of a turnover tomorrow for Northampton. Northampton have actually playing good rugby. I will be staying away from this handicap until I see team news. Unless Northampton do a big turnover, I'll be staying away from this. I've been quite impressed with Northampton. I think they've been quite plucky. Despite the fact that they got smoked in Northampton, I've got a bit of a feeling that Northampton will actually be a bit up for this game in Ireland. And I agree with Joe. Look, they could get, Northampton could get a bit of a harding, but I'll be staying away from this game. It's not on my screen. I actually quite like Northampton the way they've been playing.
Right, interesting. The boys are, some differing opinions, and it's always good to have the different opinions in the comments section as well. And Shane, I think it was just pointing out that the weather is not going to be great as well. So that does sometimes impact on the handicap as well. Let's move on to the next game and stay with you there, Brendan. The Exeter Chiefs again home to the Sale Sharks. And here we got the Chiefs, very firm favourites at 1-12, and that relates to a handicap of -16.5.
Brent, I haven't been impressed with Sale, but I'll tell you what, I'll be taking the plus here. Exeter have done all they need to do in terms of the Champions Cup. I think all they need to do, try and get here as a win, and they'll go, I'm happy. I think, I'm not big on this game. Exeter have burnt me too many times to try and take this minus. So, if anything, I'll be taking small to medium on the plus here on Sale and hoping for a very dour game there in Exeter.
Right, Gavin?
Yeah, I think Conductor's right. Yeah, that sounds a bit too high. Feels a bit too high. I don't know if I'm going to have a bet on it, but if I do, I'm definitely going plus. I'm not going minus, that's for sure.
Excellent. And Gavin, you can take us into the last game of the Champions Cup, and that's Clermont against Bath Rugby. And here we got the French team, very firm favourites at 1-40, and that relates to a handicap -21.5.
Yeah, it's either minus Clermont or no bet. I wouldn't touch Bath here away in France. I expected this handicap actually to be closer to the 30 line. So, yeah, small punt on minus for me here. Not going massive. I'm not very good at this particular rugby, but I will have a bet on this game.
Conductor, finish us off on the Champions Cup and give us your best bet.
Brent, 100%. I'm also not going to go big on this Clermont game. Like I said to you, a couple of games ago, I'm not going to go big on these big handicaps. I think you can only lose money here with, especially guys like Racing, Clermont, and those kind of guys taking the foot off the pedal and allowing a couple of easy tries. And I think you're going to be pulling your hair out at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night and, punching doors, etc. when you're going to be so upset that you thought the big handicap was going to come in and it didn't. So, like I said, my aim is at the 9 to 10s, maybe try and sneak a win here or there. But I'll stay away from this game as well. I can see Clermont running away from this game. They at this Michel Michelin is their game, is their home ground. They're absolutely, it's like a fortress there, and they love to dominate teams. But I can also see them not smashing Bath for some other reason. So no, I'm staying away from these big handicaps. No, I won't have any bets on this game. But
carry on.
My best bet, sorry, Brent, you asked my best bet is Benetton plus 3.5. That's I've definitely advised my mates. I've invested quite heavily in that. I won't advise Oaks to do bets unless I've taken some of it myself. I expect a weak Lyon team, and I expect a strong Benetton team. And I quite like that. I'm trusting the Italians one more time, and I'm hoping for some Il Duce magic.
Excellent, Brendan. Thanks very much. Just very quickly, because the show, this has definitely been a record show for us in terms of time. There's been so much great rugby to talk about. Anything on the Challenge Cup? Just any best bet that stands out for you there? Nothing on the Challenge.
Yeah, I quite like Power. Sorry, man. It's at 22-10 versus Cardiff Blues. They've got now Ben Smith and Whiteblock now in as the guys. I think they're going to have a bit of a change. I think that's a bit of value there. But to be honest, I haven't looked at the Challenge Cup too much. I'll be honest. That was my only fancy. I quickly saw they brought in those two guys. I expect that sort of input of quality will make a bit of difference against a bit of an average Cardiff side, and they're playing in France.
Excellent. And let's finish off then with Oracle. You see Shane, he wants to know, Oracle, is Granny's pension fund going on anything this weekend?
Okay, so Shane, unfortunately, I'm not dipping into the pension. In fact, I've put the pension on a 60-day fixed deposit to lock it up until the end of January. That was done at the end of November. So yeah, I do have a bit of a holiday fund going. And I got to tell you, I'm involved in a couple of other things other than the rugby. You might laugh at me, but I don't know if any of you tuned in this morning to watch that President's Cup golf. I did get involved in the internationals at 28-10, and I'll tell you why I did that. I have backed the internationals before, and I am well down on them. I have got involved in the last few years. In fact, I started punting them in 2003. I wasn't involved in 1998 or 2001. But anyway, what impressed me about Ernie Els is he's gone and he put 7 rookies in the team. He's chosen quite a strong Asian contingent. He's picked that Canadian guy, Adam Hedwin. I was very impressed with him. Very, very nice guy. He's got that Chilean guy. You know, what he's done is he's got rid of guys that are going to remember or be haunted by the losses or the 10 losses that they've had over the years. He's got a fresh team, and he's doing it by the stats. He's looking at data here, and I watched an in-depth interview with him, and I'll tell you, I got involved in some 28-10 last night, and I got to tell you, at 4-1 today, right? So going into, I think the first game's at 2 o'clock in the morning, which is 4 hours from now. The international team is trading around evens to win this tournament. Mathematically, statistically, and just from a massive price perspective, even money or better. I'm going to drop this down to 9-10. If you can get better than 9-10 right now, you got to get involved. This international team will win, and if you can get some -1 or -2, you can get involved in that as well. I think this international team is going to win this tournament by 4 or 5 points, and I'm definitely all over them. Next thing I'm going to tell you. Yeah, so
21-20 at WSP there.
Yeah, that's over even money. That's fantastic value. Get involved in that if you can. The other one, and I know I'm going to have guys laughing at me and making comments, Henrik and whatever, Han and these guys. As much as South Africa's cricket is in the doldrums, and I agree with them, it's rubbish. But this English team has not performed fantastically. In fact, we saw Han saying earlier today, as much as South Africa's in the crap, England are just, they're not really out of it either. So I've got to say there's a little bit of value in South Africa. And you know what I say here? The South African team is trading above even money to win a series in South Africa in December. That's value to me already on its own. It doesn't matter who they're playing. They don't lose test matches in Cape Town and Centurion. So if you are an English punter here and you want to throw money at England, I'm going to tell you to wait for the 3rd test, because that's probably where your value is going to come. There's no value in punting England now. These are the 2 hardest test matches they've got to play, the Centurion and the Cape Town. I just think South Africa will either go into, at worst case here, will be 1-1. I don't think they'll be down going into the 3rd match. They'll either be 2-0 up, 1-0 up, or it'll be 1-1 or 0-0, I suppose. But so there's a little bit of money for me. I'm involved in England. And if you want to go bigger on South Africa, if you can find the likes of WSB and these bookmakers offering you South Africa, a woman's not to score a single point in an entire tournament, I'd say have a go at that, because you'll probably get around 15-10 or 18-10. I'd say you can have a decent strike on that. South Africa won't score a point in this tournament. They're not going to score a point in the game tomorrow, and they won't score one in the tournament.
So no hope for the South Africans there in the 7's, that's for sure. But Gavin, I'm pleased you touched on the cricket there, because I'd like to do a show perhaps before the series starts. Get the like of yourself and Couch Critic on. We can have a bit of a chat, perhaps look at some of the top batsmen, top bowler markets. I know Couch Critic likes to get involved in that. And see if you can convince the likes of Henrik to do a big switch around. And you'll have to convince me as well, because I must say I'm firmly in the English camp. Gents, thanks for a great show. It's really looking forward to the 7's. Gavin, we'll certainly catch up over the weekend. Apologies, everyone. We didn't get Sean Nicholas in. Unfortunately, he couldn't get away from his dinner engagements there. But no doubt he will be putting his posts, his early picks on the Good for the Game forum. So the link is down below in the comments, or you can go to Good for the Game and click on GFTG forum, and you'll find that. But Gavin, thanks a lot, man. Have a great time at the 7's. Look forward to chatting you and seeing those selfies of you hugging the New Zealanders. I mean the USA team.
The Yankees, yes, that's right. The Yankees. Yeah.
Excellent.
Brent, as I said, you're welcome to cross over to me. I'll be in the stadium probably. Traditional for me is to get there about an hour earlier. So I'll be in the stadium. I can show you some pictures on my phone. Obviously, I'll be involved in a few beers during the day, but you're certainly welcome to come through to me at quarterfinals, semi-finals, final. Yeah, I'm happy to come on live and chat to you. I was thinking about people asking me if I'm dressing up. I'm going to get my family to wear Lion shirts. That's probably as far as I'll go. What I have done is I've gone to the local Chinese shop down here where I live in Hillcrest, Assegai area, and I've bought a whole lot of flags. I already had some from the 2010 World Cup. So I'm going to walk into the stadium with about 12 flags of all the different teams that are playing. And if I like a team on a particular game, I'll be waving the flag. So, yeah, we're going to be switching poles into different flags and having a good time. And as I said to you the last time, I've been watching this tournament for 20 years, and I've been punting on it for 20 years, and now I'm finally getting to go. I'm so excited. It's just like I'm really excited.
No, we can see you pumped up for this one. Brendan, thanks very much, and thanks for your contributions to the show over the year. We'll be staying in touch, of course. And, look forward to chatting you early in the new year as we head into Six Nations and Super Rugby. Have a cracking weekend.
Thanks, Brent. Lekker. I'll be there at the... I won't chat to you, Alex, but I'll be at the cricket at Centurion. I'll be there with my watermelon hat and my toga outfit with Oracle You Wrong banner. So, absolutely.
Excellent. Well, definitely have to get a pick. Maybe I'll have to come to one of the days at Centurion as well. Guys, thanks very much to all the guys in the live chat, both on the show and all of the people who support the show, watching it afterwards as well, wherever you're based around the world. Thanks very much. It's been a great year for our YouTube channel. We've grown our subscribers nicely, and we're looking forward to big things in 2020. Certainly looking forward to the Super Rugby. No World Cup, of course, but plenty of rugby to talk about. Have a great holidays. Be safe if you are traveling. And stay close. We'll probably have something for you on the 7's over the weekend as well. Thanks, guys. Enjoy.